What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. And this video has been sitting in the back of my head for a couple of weeks now. I've had it in my mind that I was going to make it at some point. But after what happened over the weekend, I think it's time. I think it's time for me to just go ahead and make this video and talk about a few different things concerning the Seattle Mariners. Now, not quite 2 months ago, but close to 2 months ago, I made a video talking a little bit about the Mariners, saying I wasn't going to make regular Mariners content this season because I wasn't particularly excited about the season. The season had gotten off to a very bad start. Remember, we started 3-7. There were a lot of injuries. There was a lot of bad stuff going on about the team at that point in time, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be watching the team enough to merit making videos about them. Like, if I'm not even going to be watching the games that closely, then why should I be making videos about it, talking about it like I have? So I'm here to make this video for a couple different reasons. The main one, of course, just to give a massive amount of credit. I mean, my God. Since I made that video when the Mariners were 3-7, they are 23-12. Going into what looks like a relatively soft three-game series this week. And I kind of had in the back of my head for a while now, because obviously this resurgence has been going on for a little bit, that this video was going to be coming. But after what happened over the weekend, where there was an opportunity for the Mariners to just completely roll over and just give up all the good work they had done over the first stretch of the season, and then they go into San Diego and sweep a really good Padres team, I was like, yeah, I got to make a video to give some credit here, because what they are doing is pretty extraordinary, and I am aware of it. I'm not completely tuning out the team. Like, I mean, I don't think I indicated that I was going to in the video that I made month and a half to 2 months ago, but I did kind of indicate I wouldn't be paying very close attention. And I've been kind of turning on my attention a little bit more, and I'm very happy with what I see. And more than anything, I'm really impressed with what I see. I thought that if you had told me the way this season was going to go in terms of the roster and the individual contributions of the players, I would have thought this would have been one of the worst teams in the league. But they're first in the division. They are legitimately playing good baseball. This is not just all fluky stuff. Their run differential is in line with their record, and so far it's been really good. Now, the other thing I want to say in this video is I'm still not planning on making regular Mariners content this year. There may be another couple of videos down the line, but I don't want to do the every 10 game thing again, mostly because I already said that I wasn't going to, and I think it'd be kind of lame if I decided, oh, I'm going to do it now because they're good. And I just kind of feel like that stuff on this channel doesn't really do a lot for a lot of people anyway, to be perfectly honest. I mean, when it comes to baseball, I understand baseball. I understand the basic ideas of how the league works these days, but it's not like football, where I really throw myself into this stuff and I really seek to understand stuff as much as humanly possible. Baseball's a little bit more of a casual thing for me. And I don't know. Again, if I didn't already say that I wasn't going to make Mariners videos this year, I might be willing to do the every 10 game thing, but I already said I wasn't going to, so I don't think I'm going to. But I can make a video like this. I can make a video like this, giving credit where credit is due, because I really, really didn't think that things were going to work out this year, especially after the way things started. And to an extent, even though I've watched most of the games and I follow the team relatively closely, I don't know how they're doing this. I mean, they are certainly doing it, but after, again, what happened over the last week, where they get annihilated in the weekend series against Toronto, and then they drop 2 or 3 against the Yankees, that was a great opportunity for them to just say, okay, time for reversion to the mean, time for us to be what people thought we were going to be. And then for them to roll into San Diego like that deserves a video, period. Even if I'm not going to make regular Mariners videos this year, that accomplishment, what they did over the weekend, deserves a video. Even if they don't win another game the rest of the year, or only win 20% of their games the rest of the year, whatever, they deserve a lot of kudos for what they pulled off this weekend. And I want to stress this again. This is something in sports that I feel like doesn't really make sense. The fact that the Mariners are 45 games into their season and are in first place, not a big first place lead, but first place in the division and 7 games above 500. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it is happening. And I think that there is some real credibility here because this team is doing it shorthanded, by and large. This team is doing it despite poor contributions from many players that they would have had good expectations for. So this is starting to become real. And while this is a dangerous thought to have, there is reason to believe they can get even better. Because when you take a look at their lineup, just to start with the lineup, their best hitter this year is somebody that can't even play every game because he can only play again because he isn't able to switch hit effectively this year for the most part. Maybe it'll come back, but right now he can only play about half the time. That's their best hitter, the guy who has been raking, and he can only play a slightly more than half the time on average. Julio has been a little above average at the plate overall. He's been fine. He's been effective. But he's not killing it. He's not making a run at league MVP. He's been good. He's good defensively. He's good on the base paths and all that. But as a hitter, he's been above average. Not even really good overall. You've got guys like Donovan Solano, who's been a complete disaster. Ben Williamson has completely turned into a pumpkin at the plate. At the plate, after a really good start, he's been completely useless, which isn't surprising, but nevertheless, they are currently trotting out a third baseman that has like a 65 OPS plus. It shouldn't be sustainable at all. They're playing Dylan Moore almost every day because they have no other choice. Ryan Bliss has missed most of the season so far. Victor Robles has missed almost the entire season so far. These are guys that we were depending on to at least be okay for us. And they weren't even playing that good before they got hurt, by the way. They signed a guy like Leody Taveras, and he's been pretty forgettable so far. That was a guy they were depending on to bail them out a little bit. He hasn't been good, at least not at the plate. They've gotten barely, and I do mean barely above average play out of Rowdy at first base. That's a position you expect your guy to really just rake at if you're a good team, and he's been tolerable, right? He hasn't been anything over the top special. He's been better than France was for the last year or two, but like we're not getting anything extraordinary there. God, what else? What else can be said? Like obviously Cal's playing great. Arozarena's playing great. There is good stuff going on here in some areas, but for the most part, if you went individually down this lineup, you'd be like, wow, this team has to be one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, Dylan Moore even missed a little bit of time with an injury, right? Luke Raley has been a complete non-factor, and he hasn't played in a little while now. A team should not be able to withstand these injuries when they have a payroll as lackluster as this, but here they are, riding timely hitting and timely everything, honestly. It just feels like to overcome a roster that doesn't really make any sense until they actually get on the field. So that's just the lineup, by the way. The pitching has been kind of a disaster. We've got one of the worst rotation ERAs in baseball. I know that. I know it's still outside the top 20. Gilbert, who was pitching really well, has gotten hurt. He hasn't pitched in a while. Kirby hasn't pitched once this season. Now Bryce Miller's hurt. We've had to lean heavily on guys like Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock and guys that haven't even pitched that well overall. They've had good games, like Hancock in particular has really kind of turned it up a little bit and actually been a viable starter. This team hasn't made any like big acquisition of another starter to make up for their deficiencies because of injuries. And like Miller wasn't even good before he got hurt, really. And then you had Castillo's been bang average pretty much as a starter compared to the rest of the league. The bullpen, other than Munoz and now Brash, who just got back, has been pretty bad. Again, you line everything up. Like if I were to go through this page here and line everything up, you would come to the conclusion that this has to be one of the worst teams in the league. They are leaning very heavily on a handful, like maybe 4 guys that are hitting really well, and they're still having to play a lot of Mastroboni, who has been awful after an initial half decent start. Garver has still been below average. We haven't gotten a big resurgence from him. Right? These are things that you would have expected would have needed to have happened for this team to be good, and they haven't. Garver is still below average. Mastroboni has been, well, collectively terrible. Solano's been unplayable. And the team has not bent over backwards to fix these problems. They just keep playing these players, and somehow it's resulted in wins. And same for the pitching. Look at how lackluster this rotation has been. Look at how much we have to lean on players that are just kind of, they're okay. They are unproven. They're inexperienced, and somehow, some way, it is finding a way to work. And the bullpen, I mean, leaning heavily on a guy like Trent Thornton, who's been a disaster all season. Santos has given us nothing. I don't know how we're here. I don't know. Usually in previous years, even when the Mariners weren't this good, they had a much better bullpen than this. They had a much better rotation than what they have right now, and yet here it is. So, and this is with Dan Wilson, who is clearly inexperienced as a manager, and he's doing the best that he can, but I'm hard pressed to say he's been good. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video to give them credit. Again, I'm not going to make regular Mariners videos right now, but wow. All right, that's really all I wanted to say. So thanks for watching. Sorry to anybody who's disappointed that I'm not making regular Mariners stuff this year, but I already said I wasn't going to anyway. But seriously though, they're finding weird ways to win, and part of you wants to say, well, it's not sustainable, and it probably isn't. But look at what might happen down the line this season, right? Are we going to get Robles back at some point, and is he going to be good, right? Are we going to get a better third baseman than what we have right now in Williamson? Are we going to find a way there? Is Cole Young going to get called up and be good? Maybe at least better than Solano, at least. What if Julio gets hot? Like, he hasn't really gotten hot yet. He's been fine. But what if he suddenly turns it on? Like, these are things that could even make up for a guy like Rivas cooling off. And you expect Rivas to cool off because this is well beyond any reasonable expectation for a player like Rivas. What if Polanco starts being able to hit in every game? What if he actually starts being able to play in the field? And then, of course, you're going to get Kirby back soon. You're going to get Gilbert back. You're going to get Miller back. And Miller might actually start remembering how to pitch well. So maybe there's something brewing here, guys. I don't know. Hopefully I didn't ruin it by making this video, but very good chance this team has gotten to 30 wins by the time we get to 50 games played, and, they don't give those away cheap. All right, see you guys later. Go Mariners. Credit where credit's due.